Class is in session. College basketball hitting the books show for Tuesday, February 24th. Ian Cameron and Connor Mack will be joining us in just a moment. With you as always, I'm ready to break down the Tuesday college basketball card. We thank everyone for joining us as always. Obviously, last night it was a light slate of action. We saw North Carolina, man, very impressive. Didn't make me happy being on Louisville's team total, but give North Carolina a lot of credit. Nice win for them, even though they were a little bit depleted against Louisville. Louisville still, as far as winning big games and especially on the road, not really good enough. That reminded me of that Duke game on a Monday night earlier this season where they got hammered. So not a good look for Louisville, but give North Carolina a lot of credit. Nice win. And how about Kansas? 41-0 on Big Monday at home at Fog Allen under Bill Self. And they get another big home win on a Monday night last night against Houston. C-Mac had that as his best bet. No sweat whatsoever. So nice win there for Kansas. And Houston licking their wounds now as they will go home to face Colorado on an 0-3 slide in this Big 12 gauntlet. Well, looked at it going into it as a litmus test for Houston to see just how good this team was. And they don't get a single victory in this gauntlet of a schedule that they have faced. They lose at Iowa State. They go back home against Arizona. They lose that. And then they lose last night against Kansas. So a little bit of picking themselves up off the mat will be required for Houston. Although it could be wrong place, wrong time for Colorado on Saturday when they go to
Houston. I think it will be.
Yeah, that's got that. I can already tell you, C-Mac, that's got Houston first half written all over it coming up on Saturday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think there'll be a lot of bets with them first half. For sure.
A popular bet, no question. All right, let's get into Tuesday now. There's not, again, you'd like to see that there's some big-time, massive games on the slate tonight, and there's a lot of power conference games, but we don't really have that game where it's two really great teams going head-to-head. We really don't have that tonight for the most part. So I'm just going to go through the bets here as far as what I'm looking at here on this slate.
Yeah.
I like Indiana team total and the over against Northwest. I like the full game over 145.5, but I like the Indiana team total a little bit more. It's a nice bounce back spot, right? They got held to 51 against Illinois, and then they struggled against Purdue Friday night as the Boilermakers, took care of business against them at Mackey Arena. I think this is their get well spot against a struggling Northwestern team, and they probably do it offensively and get back on track shooting wise. Certainly back on their home floor. I would expect that here from them a lot better. Tucker DeVries and company have a better shooting night here for Indiana. So I like the team total. I like the full game over, but I'm going to go a little bit bigger on the team total and isolate Indiana. C-Mac, I want to take Notre Dame, but I don't know if I can do it. Obviously, Duke's coming off the huge win against Michigan Saturday. Big-time game from them. I don't know. Notre Dame's got a lot of injuries, though. They've been depleted a little bit. And I remember getting burned taking Syracuse, in a potential spot like this against Duke. And Duke, what did they beat them by 30 or something? I remember that game. Now, this is at Notre Dame. Okay, that was at Cameron Indoor. This one's at Notre Dame. So it is a road game here for Duke. But I just don't know if I trust the health of Notre Dame or Notre Dame to be able to score enough throughout the course of 40 minutes here against this Duke defense. Because what Duke did defensively, I'm telling you, it's one of the better defensive performances I've seen of the entire season. What they did, C-Mac, to Michigan on Saturday, that's as good as
we talked about it.
Yep.
I know. It was impressive. I was even impressed. Of course, against Big Bad Michigan.
Yep.
That great offense. So, yeah. This seems flat, though, spot. You're talking about Notre Dame, or nothing. I'm not going to play it here.
I would say Notre Dame first half. If you're going to go in that direction, I would look maybe more first half there in that one. Marquette, Georgetown, I played some over 149.5 there. I'm on NC State getting 6.5 against Virginia. Virginia, I believe, has Duke coming up after this game. They're laying a healthy 6.5. This NC State team drives me to drink sometimes, literally. Watching them it can be frustrating because the talent's there, but the basketball smarts aren't always there. Bad shot selection is the good shot selection, I should say, isn't always there. But they're coming off a blowout win against North Carolina. They've had a week off, a full week for Will Wade to prep. No excuses. You should be ready to go here for this game. And like I said, Virginia does have Duke at Cameron Indoor coming up on Saturday. So a big spot look ahead for potentially for Virginia. Virginia, by the way, as home favorites. The last 3 of the last 4 they have covered. The only one they did was against Pittsburgh, who's lousy. They were 6.5-point home chalk against North Carolina. They lost outright. They were 13.5-point home chalk against Syracuse. They didn't cover. And they were 7.5-point home favorites their last game against Miami. They only won by 3. So I like this spot. I like this price for NC State. I'm going to take them. I like this over a little bit too, but I like the side more. I like the Wolfpack here to keep this one competitive, plus 6.5 in that one. Cincinnati, Texas Tech's very interesting, right? Texas Tech, part of me thinks, okay, they showed that they can survive without Toppin. Well, did they, or was it just that one-game bump? Because you know what that's like. When the team loses a key player to injury, first game they all step up, and then it doesn't last. They go back to, looking poor the next game. I could see that. Plus, let's not forget, Kansas State's terrible. That last opponent that Texas Tech beat. So I think when you look at this game, I'm inclined to maybe back the Bearcats here, catching the points. My only concern is it's back-to-back on the road for them. The big win against Kansas, it was a little bit of a letdown here for Cincinnati, but there shouldn't be. They need every win they can. Like, they have now put themselves in a position with this little run they've put together to get themselves – I don't know if they're on the bubble yet, but they're getting closer to the bubble. They could get themselves in a position where they're on the bubble and maybe even on the right side of the bubble if they can somehow go to Lubbock here tonight and beat Texas Tech. So this is a big game for Cincinnati. Like, if you want to try to breathe new life and hope into your NCAA tournament hopes, you got to have a good showing here tonight. And I don't fully trust Texas Tech laying points to do what they did against Kansas State. First of all, number one, they stepped up without Toppin first game. Most teams do that when they lose one of their best players. First game, they all step up. Doesn't necessarily carry over to the next game. And number two, Kansas State's pathetic. So let's not get carried away with Texas Tech looking great in that game. So I think Cincinnati, I'm leaning that way, even though I'm a little leery of backing them on the road for a second straight game. But, I took them against Kansas, and I'm definitely leaning in that direction as far as Cincinnati here in that one. Over with Kentucky, South Carolina, over with Old Dominion, Marshall. Old Dominion, Marshall, I think that total gets into the 160s. Marshall's been an over machine of late, so I like that one. I like Ball State a little bit in the MAC. They're catching 5 against UMass. I mean, UMass has played some games where they've been in the games. They've had some tough losses. Now you're laying 5 on the road. I know Ball State's not very good, but do you trust UMass defensively against anybody? I don't. So I think Ball State, maybe as a home dog, can hang around there a little bit. Central Michigan in the over versus Kent State. What else have we got? We go down the board a bit. There's a Michigan team total I like, over 83.5 against Minnesota, simply banking on the bounce back theory. One of the worst offensive performances of the season for Michigan, although credit has to go to Duke for how well they played defensively in that game. Now you're back home against Minnesota. Probably a great chance to have everybody bounce back offensively after that game. So the Michigan team total against Minnesota, I definitely think has the chance to get there in that one. Auburn, Oklahoma, I think that's a total that's gone too far now the other way. I think at 163.5, I'm not betting it, but at 156.5, I am betting over with Auburn and Oklahoma because I just think it's moved a little bit too much there in that.
155s now?
Let me just see. 156.5 looks like the best there is.
Oh yeah, I swear I saw 155s and a half for a minute.
Much,
it must have
moved a bit too much, no, in my mind there. We're betting the Air Force over again. We've talked about this. I mean, it's been an unbelievable run of overs for Air Force. They have absolutely stopped playing any defense, and it has been this way now for 8, 9, 10 games in a row. I was actually a little floored that total was 141.5 overnight when I hit it. I said, what? 141.5 right now with Air Force? But yeah, they're not defending anybody. And San Jose State, I think, can score on them. San Jose State is every bit almost as bad a defensive team in this conference as Air Force is. So this actually could be a spot for Air Force at home to be able to score some points here. Like, I think they'll score more
points.
Can
Can they cover? Shut the fuck up. No way.
I don't know about cover Air Force, but I think they'll score enough to help the over. San Jose State will score.
Sucks.
Yeah. There is no question. So, yeah, the over is the clear choice. I don't want to side. Just stick to the total. That's what I'm going to do there. I'm thinking of backing Arizona State plus 7.5 against TCU. It's a revenge spot. Arizona State's been a nice little point spread covering machine all of a sudden in recent games. They also had the upset win against Texas Tech. just recently. I mean, Bobby Hurley's team is suddenly playing their best basketball right now. And I don't know if I trust TCU and Jamie Dixon's group, laying 7.5 here. So I think Arizona State plus the points is something I'm interested in there. I'm on Missouri. It's actually a side I like quite a bit, but unfortunately, a lot of other people do because Tennessee was 4.5. It's down to we know what Missouri's like in these spots. This is where you want them, at home. This is where they show up. Dennis Gates behind Gates, heaven or hell, mansion or jail. Yeah, Missouri. Definitely, I think they have a good chance to win this game outright. They've actually covered 4 straight against Tennessee. Tough road spot for Tennessee. They're on the road against Vandy. They win on Saturday. They're on the road for a second straight game in less than a week. This is a tricky spot to be laying, especially 4.5 where this number opens. So, like I said, Missouri, I think, is very live in that game. Wouldn't shock me if they win outright. This has one of those Rick Barnes, Tennessee. Give me the Tennessee at Kentucky repeat here, where Tennessee spits a bit and finds a way to lose on the road. We know they're capable of it. USC, UCLA, I like the over there. I actually like UCLA is a bit of an over team at the moment. Like their defense has not been good, not anywhere close to what we've seen in the past, but they're scoring again. And, it was a great offensive performance in the big win against Illinois, at home on Saturday. USC is a team you can't trust defensively. So I actually think that's a high scoring game. Actually, the last 2 meetings between the LA schools, Trojans and Bruins, have gone over the total. So I like that over. I think I lean USC as well. I mean, do we really, really want to back UCLA laying 7.5?
I can't believe it's gone to 7.5. I know SC's got some problems, a little bit with just injuries and
no chance in hell I'd lay 7.5 with UCLA in this spot.
In this rivalry game?
Yeah.
SC, UCLA? Yeah.
Chance.
I agree.
I'm kind of leaning
New Mexico.
I know Nevada, it's that situational home spot as a short home favorite for Nevada, but I think New Mexico is just the better team. So that's where I'm at for the Tuesday card. C-Mac, floor is yours. What are you liking here tonight, college hoops?
Let's hit our guy, Goracle. There he is. He's like Tennessee. Tennessee, all right. I love it. Virginia money line. A lot of people on NC State. Well, we'll hit that right away, Gore. I'm on. Give me Missouri here. I think we just put in the chat the juice. Yeah, Vols have been running really well and on the road. They do have size. I think Missouri's got the size here too. And I don't want to back him. I stayed off the Tennessee game, Vandy. Thought the number on Saturday.
Tennessee had size against Kentucky too. You know what happened on the road in that game? They choked in the second half. Okay. So I don't give 2 shits about size. Size be damned. They're a flaky team in my opinion. Vols.
Well, I think they're playing great basketball right now. This is just a tough game, back-to-back road games after going to Vandy, a team that's played well all year and shot the ball really good in long stretches during the year. So, but I'm on Missouri there. But shout out to everyone else in here. FB, Gotti, C-Mac, that hook was brutal. I know what you're talking about, but I need it whenever I could get it when it happens because I got my ass hooked Saturday and Sunday. So, and we're gamblers. I need anything I can fucking get when it comes down to it. Jay Stryker, Robert up in here. Dimitri, as always. Gold Jew. Shout out to all the members in the Green Chucktown. Great to see you. Nick Alvento. Everyone in here. Yeah, this Dayton, did you talk about that? This has come down to 3
No,
here.
I didn't mention that. I have no bet on that game. None. It's a really tough game. Here's the thing. St. Louis, I ain't betting against St. Louis, but Dayton's starting to finally, after all this time, starting to play some good basketball. Anthony Grant and his group. And they got absolutely embarrassed at Chaffetz Arena in St. Louis. Totally embarrassed. They got housed in that game by the St.
People see that. And this is kind of a big game, big win for St. Louis at home. They've been winning.
VCU, remember, they were down big early against VCU and then just had that avalanche of points in the second half. And they came back. And that's what they can do to teams, though. They could just go on these 13, 14-1 runs, and the next thing you know, bong, you're out of the game. It's like a 2x4 upside the head.
The hook for the over. Oh, I didn't have that. I just had the Rio Grande Valley, which covered, which was, man, I couldn't believe it. But it was a good second half from them. This game here, real quick, when we talk about that, people see it, everyone year after year, is when you're a good basketball team, you get drilled by 30 plus, but men are 25 plus.
Yeah.
And then you're back home, you're already going to play better. That's what people say. Dayton's playing well. So that's why this has come down, I think. And the flat spot.
right.
for St. Louis. It's kind of everything. The boxes are all checking here, where they think Dayton is live. It's tough. You know, I mean, now you still like the 3.5, but I think you missed him. You could have got a better number. And I'd want the points, just how good offensively St. Louis has been. I'd want that 5.5 if you could have got it earlier in the day. But here's one. I think I'm going to move. I haven't. This game starts in an hour. You know, we talked about on Saturday how I liked Maryland against Washington. I know this. The only thing is this isn't really a travel for Washington. You know, a big deal for them. They lose to Maryland. They're the better team here. I just think this, even with them, and I think they have a better shooting. I think they shot 23% from the three. They weren't very good from two in that game, only held to 60 points. So I think they score a little bit better here today, but there's no way. And I know Rutgers is pretty rough. This team you don't want to back, but I think they're the team here to take. I know mostly
I'm with
4.5.
Rutgers are pass. I don't know if I have the stomach to actually say, yeah, I'm betting Rutgers. That's the problem.
That's how I felt. I think I might here. I think I'm going to add it here after the show in this one. You know what's a game we'll talk about? Another early one will hit. Shout out to Marquet, my man, NJ Stryker. As always, please no Rutgers. I know, man. God damn. Don't say that to me. But you talked about George Washington, LaSalle getting it done. Both these teams are dealing with a bunch of injuries. Bavano. They've lost a bunch in a row since LaSalle finally wins. Your best bet, right?
Yes, it was Saturday. Easy. I told you, man. Rhode Island, after that, stormed the court against St. Louis. Come on. We knew they were up against Eddie in that one.
I don't know if I want them here. You know what I think you just take, unless this game gets sloppy. I talked about there's injuries on both sides. LaSalle can't score. I haven't been on enough of their unders. Like, I know George Washington can. I think this total's way too high.
They did blow up Rhode Island, but even then they didn't light it up the scoring. Rhode Island couldn't make a shot. That's what it was.
I know. LaSalle's defense has been a little bit better, but they can't seem like they can't break 65. Yep. I mean, game in and game out. So I think the total's too high here. I think they could cover this number. George Washington laying this big of a number on the road. I don't know about that, but give me the under here. 148. George Washington, LaSalle. I'm on that under. There, Cincy, Texas Tech. You talked about under in that game. There. Did you touch on the Marquette game, Georgetown? I think this game could go over. I
took a little Marquette and a little bit of the over there. It's Marquette because it's a revenge, right? They lost at home to Georgetown, and now they're on the road as a dog. You know, that angle, I've talked about it over and over again. I usually like that angle.
Yeah. Okay.
And Georgetown, I will not lay points with Georgetown. Simple as that. I won't do it.
I don't think so, too. And this has come back here, 2.5, 2, you know, and I think it's pretty sharp money on Marquette with this number. So you talked about UCF. Give me the points here with them. Let me see the best.
Oh, you like the Knights there, huh? Good stuff.
Give me them 12.5. I think it's too much. BYU is at home. Just a big win. They coast here. This game has probably a lot of points. Big total to start with. It's come down a little bit here to 162.5, but I think they can hang around against BYU. Off the biggest win of the year, they win this game. I don't think they cover. I still don't trust them defensively at all. And when you talk about SC, and I think you're right. I think this game could go over as well. Sometimes, though, the only way I think I just like the points more, these rivalry games. I know last year they went over a couple times. They're played a little bit tighter, you know, and we'll see with UCLA. The game that I won the over, which smash it, was the Illinois SC and UCLA game. Right. And on Saturday, there was at 145. And there's a shit ton of points. I was kicking myself there. I wish this was at 145. Now we're talking, not 150, but it isn't. But I think SC with the points there. We talked about Missouri. I'm on them here at home. I think the game comes down the wire, so I took the 3.5 there. Here's an under. I'm on. He seems to be been going over, but I think we're just at a number that's too high right now, and they're at home. It almost makes me want to take their team total under here as well at 70.5 with Fresno, but just the under in this game. I think Colorado State slows it down. Like I talked about, I know they've been going over the last few, but I think now 149.5. This is just way too high for them in a game where it seems like a month ago this would have been 137.5.
Right.
So I know we've got more points, but I think we have tons of value there now. So Fresno, Colorado State, under 149.5. This is a lean from here. Oklahoma and that over you talked about, 155.5, 156 now. I think Oklahoma is alive in this game. These teams don't play defense. Their metrics are horrible. Who gets stops in a game like this? I was surprised this dropped to this much, the total. I thought it was a little high. 161 would open right around there. They're right in that range, 160. But it's come a little too far down, like you talked about, I think, in that one. And let me rip through a few other ones that I'm just looking at in this one. I think Utah, I didn't bet them yet. I think they could be live. Lafayette, Troy, under 135. Under. Old Dominion. I don't want this team on the road, but I think these teams are too similar a little bit. I know Marshall's played better at home, but I think Old Dominion +7 is live there. And
that again is one of those angles where Marshall, or Old Dominion rather, Marshall beat Old Dominion on the road earlier. Old Dominion lost at home to Marshall in the first meeting. Now they're on the road as a dog in revenge in the rematch. And there's that angle again. I've said long term, it's hitting like 55 to 60%. Teams that lost at home in conference play against an opponent, they're a road dog in revenge in the second meeting. The road dog in revenge covers more often than not. So that says to bet Old Dominion, if you believe in that.
What do you think about Buffalo, Akron? I think it could go over. This is a lot of points. Has Buffalo, this team better on the road? They played better on the road, even in MAC play this year. From a team I just couldn't back on the road at all, it seems like for years. Can they maybe hang
around? They won outright
here?
at UMass. Unbelievable comeback by them in that game. They won outright as a dog at Ball State. Bowling Green, they won outright. They have 3 outright conference wins as an road underdog in a row. And they covered against Miami O, the class of the conference. Undefeated Miami O, 10.5-point dog. They lost by 3. So I don't think it's crazy to look at Buffalo. And look, Akron failed to cover last time against who was it?
Yeah,
Ball State on Friday night. They lost by the hook. I think they won by 13. They were laying 13.5.
Yeah. Someone asked, Arenas playing? Yeah, he played last game.
He played last game. I think he's in tonight too. Yeah.
I think he's good to go. That's he's over his little injury problem.
I know USC is pretty rough right now, but I'm telling you what, this to me looks from a mile away like UCLA. If they win by like 4 or 5. That kind of game tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're good at home, but it's just
rivalry game.
Come on, rivalry game. It seems. Come on, SC UCLA. It's got to be good here. There's some other good ones.
Both side and total. USC and I think over 150.
And the over. What about Miami, Florida State? You stay off that game?
I like Miami. I just wish it was pick'em, or a slight dog. There's the odds makers did the right thing because there's another one where it's Miami lost at home to Florida State. Now they're in revenge, and I think they're the better team still a little bit. Miami as well. So I think Miami's the right side. They're small road favorite.
I think so. Everyone in the chat too, hit up any games you have questions on.
Anything we missed? Now's the time because UIC Bradley. Yeah, I have a small bet on the over there, but they have been more higher scoring up and down teams lately. The Flames and the Braves there in Missouri Valley play. Drake has been the team I've been betting, as you guys know, a ton of overs with, but they're not playing tonight. But yeah, I would lean UIC. That's another one I believe with UIC Bradley. That angle, home loss. Now they're a road dog in revenge. Bradley lost at home to Illinois Chicago earlier this season. Now they're on the road in revenge. Dog, 3.5-point dog at UIC. And UIC, after this great run from a point spread standpoint, they finally failed to cover in their last game. In fact, I think they lost outright against Valparaiso in their last game. So, yeah, it would be Bradley plus the points for me, fitting that angle. Again, it's the angle is the home loss, then they're a road dog in revenge to a conference opponent. And that says to bet Bradley here.
Yeah, Indiana. I mean, this is the Indiana spot. I don't really want them. Northwestern's giving them problems. I was looking at them. Can they have a big first half? I don't know. What do you think about Northwestern, Indiana?
Well, I mentioned it earlier. I'm on the team total.
Oh, you did?
I'm on the over and
you are? I didn't hear.
Indiana team total. Yeah, I think I just feel a little safer with the team total for Indiana than laying the 9. You know what I mean? Because I could see a backdoor type of deal here, but I think they do get over their team total. Team total is 77.5. I think they can get over that.
77.5. Someone butchered. I would, Wyoming, Boise, Wyoming. I'm shocked how well they played Saturday. Made big shots on the stretches and free throws.
That's a stay away game, Mark A, with Arizona Baylor. I didn't do much in that game, other than I will say, I guess if I had to, I'd take Baylor, but it is a tough spot. It's a sandwich game for Arizona, right? They're coming off the win against Houston, and then they play, I think, revenge against
This line should be 12. This line should be 12.
Yeah. Kansas is going to Arizona on Saturday. The same Kansas team that handed Arizona their first loss of the season on Big Monday a couple weeks ago. So that's a revenge spot for Arizona. Kansas on Saturday in McHale Center in Arizona. So I don't know. This just right away
sleepy
from a spot perspective. Maybe a sleepy spot. Is Baylor good enough, though? I keep saying it. Is Baylor good enough to do anything about it, to take advantage? I don't know. I'm not willing to bet it.
No? Man, I know. It's moved a lot. I think it's Baylor or nothing. In that one game, I'd lay it with Boise just to be sure I don't have a bet on it. I really don't want to lay that many points with them. And that's about it. Arizona State, TCU. I loved Arizona State. On Saturday, they got the cover. I'm going to stay off here. I think they could hang around against TCU. So just in that game, I want to touch on it. That's about it. Do we have anything else?
I'll tell you right now, you don't even have to wait for Friday's show. That I've got that Arizona spot circled Saturday against Kansas. You are ready to play when you're facing a team that ended your undefeated season. And I think Arizona will be ready for that against Kansas in Tucson on Saturday. Remembering what happened on Big Monday a couple weeks ago. Because it was Kansas that ended the perfect season for Arizona. So that's a great spot, I think, for Arizona is Saturday when they're hosting Kansas. Tonight, I would only look Baylor, but I don't know if I trust Baylor. I really don't. I mean, Baylor's been that flighty this season. Like, look what they've done. I mean, Louisville was a great spot for Baylor. They played Louisville. They were 7.5-point home dogs. They ended up losing by 11. That's what I fear in this game. That's what I fear, that Baylor hangs around, and then I would say Baylor first half. Mark A. did mention he likes first half. Yeah, I definitely prefer first half for Baylor than I do the full game, because that's what happened against Louisville, CMAC. They covered the first half point spread against Louisville. They were tied at halftime. They lost by 11. So that's what could happen here. I mean, Arizona is the much better team. Baylor could hang early, and then Arizona is just the better team. They wake up in the second half, and they win by double digits. It could happen. Absolutely, I could see that happening. So if you like Baylor, I don't think it's the worst idea to go first half, or at least split it up between first half and full game.
Yeah, I mean, they should be pumped up. This team, though, is not good defensively, and they had trouble to hit shots, this Baylor, with consistency. So, but yeah, it seems like they're live here tonight, 9 Eastern.
Still a little bit of a danger spot for Arizona. Still got to, be prepared, because Baylor is certainly going to be looking to make an impression. But like I said, their defense is not good, and shot making is not a consistency for them. Yeah, Chucktown 111, I mentioned it. I like it. Michigan team total over. I think they hang 80s, mid-80s, high 80s against Minnesota here, coming off the Duke loss. It's pretty obvious, but, I want an elite team, one of the best offensive teams in the country. I want to back their team total over in a game against a much lesser opponent, which they should have focus for because they lost their last game, coming off one of their worst offensive games of the season, which Michigan had. Like, Michigan only scoring 63 against Duke and only shooting 40% from the field and 24% from three-point range. Now
they had looks. They missed a lot. I mean, they were bricking. Yeah. I mean, I got to give credit to Duke Stevens.
Something tells me those shots fall tonight against a much weaker team. So I think it's a good spot play. Michigan team total tonight over against Minnesota. And I like the hire for Minnesota, their head coach there, because he's done good work elsewhere. But I think tough spot here tonight for his team when it comes to Nico Medved.
They're off a big win, too.
Yeah.
Who they beat up on Saturday? Won by like 20.
Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota played Rutgers, which isn't saying much, but still, 80.
Fucking Rutgers. Maybe that's a sign.
Yeah.
Stay off.
Yeah. So, yeah, I like Michigan team total. By the way, prior to the Duke game, 91, 86, 87, 110, 83. You know what I mean? I mean, they've usually gone over this team total more often than not. So, yeah, I like that in that game. All right, I think that's about it. I've got everything. We've mentioned everything we like. It's time to wrap it up the only way we know how to here on Hitting the Books, and that's with Best Bets. C-Mac with an easy winner with his best bet last night on Kansas. K-U, U, K-U, U. That's the chant at Fog Allen that they always do for Kansas. All right, Connor Mack, best bet.
Missouri, plus 3.5. Take them. I think they went outright, but they keep that game tight. A lot of Tennessee love. Tough back-to-back road game. Take Missouri. Best bet. Plus 3.5. If there's a second, it starts here, that early game, under. I'm just saying, I'm betting this too. I already, because I already bet this game, that under in George Washington South, under 148. Other
Good
one.
stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's a good best. That's actually one of my favorite sides, Missouri. Robert Carlson talking about that is one of my other favorite sides, NC State, plus 6.5 against Virginia, with Virginia got Duke on deck. So I like that side quite a bit. But that ain't going to be best bet. Best bet is going to be one of the best totals runs going. We've been good at picking off these teams that are just on these massive over streaks, cashing best bets with them on the show, and we're doing it again with Air Force tonight. San Jose Air Force over 144.5. It's been a monster over streak for the Falcons. They don't guard anybody. They don't defend anybody. San Jose State should score at will here tonight. But there's only one team worse defensively in the Mountain West than Air Force. Do you know who that is? San Jose State. So expect Air Force to be able to score enough as well to chip in and send that game over the total. So San Jose State, Air Force over 144.5 for my best bet for this Tuesday. There you go. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Robert Oliver Carlson, Chucktown 111, Mark A, Juice 33, Nick Alvento. Who else have we got here? There we go. Gold Jew, FB Gotti, NJ Stryker, Daryl Turner. Appreciate everyone in the chat. Jorge Herrera, Gorky, everyone in the chat. Appreciate you guys joining us here on this edition of Hitting the Books. Remember, get on board and become a member if you're not already, because we're only on for members tomorrow and Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. So if you're not a Hitting the Books channel member, get on board. And for the members, we will see you tomorrow. For Connor Mack, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Tuesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we're back on Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, with a members-only edition of the show. Until then, class dismissed.
Become a member.